Hello, you're watching the review of the most important news according to Japan Times, and I'm your guide for today, Aygerim Kagarmanova. The world is still not over the Ukraine news. US President Barack Obama has hit out at Moscow's expansionism as a sign of weakness after Russia took control of the Crimea, fueling fears of further intervention. Russia is a regional power that is threatening some of its immediate neighbors, not out of strength, but out of weakness, Obama told journalists after the nuclear security summit. The Crimean crisis has sparked the most explosive East-West confrontation since the Cold War and fanned fears in Kiev that Russian President Vladimir Putin now intends to push his troops into southeast Ukraine. The fears of further intervention are not groundless. The effective loss of Crimea, though recognized by no Western power, has dealt a heavy psychological blow to many Ukrainians. Although Russia does not need the permission, according to Russian media, people in Crimea and Russia are still celebrating the event, meaning that Crimea will benefit from it. The West is panicked not only about the Crimea, but what attracts attention this week is North Korea. It test-fired two medium-range ballistic missiles, South Korea said, a defiant challenge to a meeting by the leaders of rivals South Korea, Japan, and the United States that focused on the North's security threat. The launch of what are believed to be Rodong missiles would be a violation of UN Security Council resolutions and marks a big escalation from a series of shorter-range rocket launches the North has staged in recent weeks to protest ongoing annual military drills by Washington and Seoul that the North claims are invasion preparation. On the other hand, a North Korean diplomat criticized the United States for conducting military exercises near its borders and accused Washington of undermining the prospect of improved relations with South Korea. The North's response to the war games this year had been more muted because of a desire of Pyongyang to use improving ties with Seoul to win badly needed aid and outside investment. What bothers Japan this week is definitely not Ukraine or the situation in North Korea. They are above those things. What matters most is enjoying the cherry blossom. Spring officially arrived in Tokyo on Tuesday when Japan's weather agency announced the start of the cherry blossom season. Trees in Tokyo will be in full blossom in about a week's time, turning parks into huge picnic areas where friends, family, and colleagues gather for sometimes raucous, alcohol-fueled celebrations that can last for hours. Much of the west of the country is already in bloom, while the north will see flowers as late as May. But let's go back to more material things, although a bit mystical. Malaysian airplane is still missing. The United States is sending an undersea Navy drone capable of exploring waters nearly 15,000 feet deep to potentially help search for any sunken wreckage of Malaysian Airlines flight MH370. It is known now that it crashed in the southern Indian Ocean, so there is no hope of finding people alive. All 239 people on board are presumed dead. The decision to pre-position the equipment in Australia comes in addition to the previously announced deployment of a towed pinger locator, essentially a high-tech piece of sonar equipment that can detect an aircraft's black box. And to end today's episode, let's throw in some news from the IT sphere. Facebook on Tuesday announced a $2 billion deal to buy a startup behind virtual reality headgear that promises to let people truly dive into their friends' lives. Facebook co-founder and chief Mark Zuckerberg said that the acquisition of Oculus was a long-term bet that making the social network's offerings more immersive would pay off. Oculus shareholders will receive $400 million in cash and 23.1 million Facebook shares in the deal. Facebook called Oculus, launched in 2012, the leader in immersive virtual reality technology with a strong following among developers. The company has already garnered more than 75,000 orders for the $350 Oculus Rift headset development kits. Well, it seems like with the days passing, it's a lot harder to stay tuned in reality, but we'll try our best. See you next time. Keep up with the world.